cell phones. Directly after the ceremony, we will have coffee and refreshments available on the veranda. For members of the media, there will be no questions within this room. If there are questions, at the discretion of the relevant individuals, they may be taken outside on the forecourt. Thank you. Be upstanding for Her Excellency Bermuda and the Honorable Premier of Bermuda.
Good morning, please be seated. Premier, Cabinet Secretary, government officials, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I am pleased to welcome you to Government House today for the swearing in and appointment of a new minister. The making of ministerial appointments falls to me as Governor, acting on the advice of the Premier under Section 58 of the Constitution. Let me now hand over to Premier Burt to set out the advice that he provided on new minister and changes to existing ministerial portfolios.
Good morning, Your Excellency, Cabinet and parliamentary colleagues, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen. Just over a week from now, we will start a new legislative year. The government will set out the agenda for the new parliamentary session, and it will reflect the priorities that Bermudians have shared with us as this government continues to listen to the desires of Bermudians all across this country. Addressing the cost of living, providing access to affordable housing, combating community violence, and safeguarding some of the key areas on which the people of Bermuda have demanded. As I have consistently stated, the government is committed to leading the economic recovery required to help us emerge from the effects of the pandemic and the challenge of increased global inflation, while reducing the burden of taxation on the working class. To accomplish these goals requires strong leadership to deliver on the promises made to the people we serve and whose mandate is one for change and fairness in this community. Earlier today, I asked Her Excellency the Governor to alter the responsibilities of ministers of the Cabinet. As a result of those changes, MP Lawrence Scott and Senator Dr. Ernest Peets will continue serving the government from outside of the Cabinet. Over the past 2 years, both ministers who no longer sit in Cabinet have set about their work in a dignified fashion. Last year, MP Scott made homeporting in Bermuda a reality, providing a much-needed boost when regular cruise calls had not restarted. His efforts will also see Bermuda have a record number of cruise calls next year. Senator Peets has delivered parish council modernization, Bermuda's national sports policy, national cultural heritage policy, and national youth policy. I wish to thank them both for their service in cabinet and for the way in which they set about discharging the duties of the offices they held, and also for their personal support for me during last week's leadership contest. I am also pleased to welcome Senator Owen Darrell to the cabinet, where he will serve as Minister of Youth, Culture, and Sports, and also assume the role as government leader in the Senate. Minister Darrell holds a Bachelor of Science degree in Social Science and Secondary Education from the University of Tampa and taught in Bermuda's public school system for 15 years. Minister Darrell has worked hard as Chief of Staff to the Premier for the last 5 years. And though there are a few that will consider this change to a somewhat different role, a lesser role, Minister Darrell has signified to me that he is up for the challenge. With a strong background in education and with extensive work with the youth of Bermuda during his time advising Bermuda's Youth Parliament, he is ideally suited for this ministry. I have no doubts that he will bring his talent and energy to bear in the mission to preserve and celebrate Bermuda's culture, promote awareness of our history, and cultivate local sporting talent to greater arenas of success. The changes made today will also reduce the size of cabinet from 13 to 12, as I've asked Minister Wayne Ferbert to assume responsibility for transport and Minister of Tourism Vance Campbell to add to his duties responsibility for those departments previously under the Ministry for the Cabinet Office. Over the last few days, I have met with cabinet ministers and MPs from my party to discuss the hard work that lies ahead. Their commitment and energy was evident, and I can only thank them for their desire to serve in these difficult times. This government will work together to fulfill the pledges set out in our platform and continue to meet the challenges presented by the unprecedented global events of the last 2.5 years.
I will now invite Mr. Darrell to take the appropriate oath under the Constitution for his appointment.
Good morning. I, Owen Kent Darrell, do swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to His Majesty King Charles III, his heirs and successors, according to law. So help me God. I, Owen Kent Darrell, being appointed a minister, do swear that I will do the best of my judgment at all times, when so required, freely give my counsel and advice to the governor or any other person for the time being lawfully performing the functions of that office for the good management of the public affairs of Bermuda. And I do further swear that I will not on any account, at any time whatsoever, disclose the counsel, advice, opinion, or vote of any particular minister or junior minister, and that I will not accept with the authority of the cabinet and to such extent as may be required for the good management of the affairs of Bermuda, directly or indirectly reveal the business or proceedings of the cabinet or the nature or contents of any documents communicated to me as a minister or any matter coming to my knowledge in my capacity as such, and that in all things I will be true and faithful minister. So help me God. morning, everyone. To Her Excellency Governor Raina Lauji, Premier the Honorable E. David Burt, members of the PLP Parliamentary Group, my children, Tatum and Oliver, family, friends, good morning. I'd like to thank Premier Burt for the confidence he has shown in me via this appointment. Youth, culture, and sport have been foundations of my professional life and continue to be a large part of my personal life. As an educator of 15 years at both local high schools, I've had the honor to teach social studies to hundreds of students. During these classes, we explored the unique culture of not only our island home, but also took an in-depth view at how cultures differ around the world, particularly the diaspora that influences Bermuda. Not a week goes by where I'm not in some way directly and personally involved in sport throughout our community, whether it be cheering on Oliver as he scores goals for Devonshire Colts, playing softball for FIU, co-ed netball for BHB Angels, and being a proud dad on the sidelines as Tatum tees off at Ocean View, or proudly cheering for the blue and white of Cleveland County Cricket Club. I'm excited to get started in this ministry that touches the lives of so many through a sense of community and well-being. In particular, I look forward to engaging with the youth. They are the future of our country. Both culture and sport help to shape our identity as a people. And as an extremely proud Bermudian, I look forward to serving in a ministry that is the drumbeat of our nation. The Ministry of Youth, Culture, and Sport work goes beyond the referee's whistle and the coaching policy, beyond the mask to the protection of the gumbays. And I'm cognizant that I'm being entrusted with the ongoing development of our national identity and the cultivation of national pride in this role. It is a challenge that I am eager to undertake. I take this opportunity to thank my predecessor and Senate colleague, Dr. Ernest Peets, for the work that he has done leading the Senate and the ministry for the past 2 years. I look forward to diving right in and continuing to do the only thing that my parents, Marlette and Ollie, have instilled in me. That's hard work. That is also the Bermudian way. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That concludes the proceedings for this morning.